What's going on, everybody? We back for another episode of Mazique Speaks, and I am just happy and blessed to be here all the time, every Friday. Try to get this out at 10 a.m. Sometimes we're a little bit late, but that is always the goal. 10 a.m. Central Time on Fridays. Mazique Speaks. We talk about the week in sports video games, and I always have an interview for you. This week is no exception. I think you guys might enjoy it. I'm going to let you know from the beginning, though, the interview is a little choppy because we were having some connection issues. My man, WinnerzStayOn, who is one of the 102 that's going to the NBA2K League, was going in and out. He said was going in and out on his end, going in and out on my end. So if you see any of that, I apologize. I contemplated getting rid of it, but I said, this was too good and it was a little bit too legible for me to too distinguishable for me to let it go completely. But you guys know, if this is not your first interview that you've watched that I've done, this is not how normally I roll, but I didn't want to throw it out, so I still brought it to you. So I hope you guys enjoy that. But before we get into the interview, let's talk about NBA 2K League. Y'all know we've been leading off the show every week with that, and we probably will for I don't know how long. I might even have to give the NBA 2K League its own show. I'm really thinking about that, so we'll talk about that in a few. But for right now, let's go back to the beginning, and we're going to try not to double up on anything. But the NBA 2K League unveiled their draft and draft lottery details. So for anybody that doesn't know, the lottery actually took place on March 13th. So I'm going to tell you about the order of that, because we're going to look at like my mock draft. I'm going to take a look at that real quick. And the draft itself, which I will be attending, is going to be at Madison Square Garden at the Hulu Theater on April 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It is going to be crazy, man, to see some of these guys, to meet some of these team managers, and just to discuss, get an opportunity, hopefully, to interview some people. It's going to be crazy to talk to the person who selected #1 overall, get an opportunity to interview them, and just the whole thing. It's going to be crazy and amazing, man. I can't wait to do that. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the complete list of the 102 is not out yet, but I got 97 of them, and I'm about 99% sure the 97 that I got are the real deal. So I'm going to go over them with you right now in case you don't know, because I don't know how you would know, but because if you really are interested in it, you probably are somewhat in tune. But I'm gonna run through them really, really quick with you right now. Number one, well, not number one, first one I wrote down. So this is not in any order of how good they were or when they were notified or whatever. This is just how I put together the list. Shump, One Wild Walnut 2K, Stay in Tune. Some people know him as I Got the Juice. UC Manny 5, B Smooth J, Day Fry 15, Larry Senior, Precision, It's Radiant, Moody, Fresh Prince JT, Timely Cook, Kenny Got Work, Perfusion TV, All Hail Trey, Like a Pro 2K, Let's Get It Ramo, Nate Island, New Dini, Rail Spade, aka WinnerzStayOn. So that's what we're going to talk to a little bit later on. Insanity, Mellow East 2K, Fab Vibes, Sean Wynn 2K, who was previously known as Chronic, Nacho Trainer, Terrio Petty, Hood 2 Glitchy, Hot Shot, Drake Griffin, Tife World or Teef World, I don't know how he pronounces it actually, Mr. Brazy Boy, Ball Like Seams, Insanity, Savage Do Work, I'm So Far Ahead, Splash King, Gotta 2K, Levert, Turn Up Defense, Carlitos 820, Majestic, Kobe Youssef 2K, Eat Sleep Hoop 15, I'm That 6MB, who is also Idris Richardson, who he will tell you in case you don't know, he considers himself the best defensive center in NBA 2K land. So, hey, I just want y'all to know, because he does not hesitate to let me know in case I don't give him what he feels is proper props. So I'm just telling y'all. Mama, I'm That Man, which is Cuda, that kid Cuda. I think that, wait a minute. No, that's not Cuda. That's a different. My bad. I'm about to get hit up about that one. Mama, I'm That Man. Cuda changed his Twitter name to something similar, but he's still being, known as Cuda. Worthen Coat, Isaac Gilton, Control, Nene XV, II, GFG Compete. That is, yeah, I compete. That dude is a dog out there. You better bring it. You better bring it, because he gonna compete. Detoxes GT, Arsenal the Best, Killer Low Key 24, Cold World 2K, SickX973, Goofy757, Dat Boy Shots, Reese the God 23, Jordan Locks Up, Sophia Foya, OG Deeds, King Quay, Jelino, Troll Bay, Troll Boy Trey, Yay Not Gaming, 24 Karat Drop Off, STL to LA. We got Cowboy Colazzo 2K. We got Wolf 74, Speedbrook, Toxic Bangs, Supreme Puller, the Player 2K, Ra Angelo. I think he changed his name. Can't remember right now. Authentic African, Universal Faye 2K, Joseph the Truth, Double D823. We got Dat Boy Dimes. Wait a minute. Did I get 24 Karat J Smooth in here twice? Feels no, that was somebody else. I'm trying to make sure. This is crazy. 24 Karat Drop Off. We got Swizzert, Bono Nicolic, Smooth Boy 3513, TS3 Josh, T Freshy, A Threat, Gooner, JLB Trey 2, Type, Lil Burn, Black Jesus 1, Evan Hinch, Stan Breezy, Mr. Slaughter 01, and Big Baby 2K, and Devalon. So that's 97. There's 5 people who we don't know who they are yet because they probably either don't have a Twitter or they barely go on social media or something to that effect. So there's still 5. All right. So I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna show you guys what my first mock draft looked like. Right. So I got some heat from this, people from the 2K community, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me preface this right by letting you guys know something. So I've been doing mock drafts for 6-7 years, right? So though they're difficult, mock drafts are somewhat difficult, but this particular mock draft, doing a mock draft for the 2K League, is the most challenging of all because this is the first season for the league. So all 17 teams are completely empty. There's no areas of weakness that you can say, oh, okay, well, they need a shooting guard or they need a point guard or they need a center. Everybody needs everything. So there's no sure way to know if, you know, a guy is going to appeal to another team. And all of these guys can play or they wouldn't be in a 102. So it's going to come down to some different things outside of just skill, because a lot of it, I don't know if we have established enough skill gap between one player and the next to say, okay, well, this person is definitively better than that person. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to chemistry, personality, attitudes, and those sort of things, right? So I preface my mock draft with that. So number 1, I only did the first round. So mock draft 2.0, I have the second round in it. But number 1, I got Dimes going to Mavs GG. Mavs GG won the lottery. So they will have the first pick, and Dimes is going to me. I don't see how they can pass Dimes up. Dimes is the safest pick in the draft. Dimes is kind of like Tim Duncan, and not that he's a center. Tim Duncan's obviously a center, but when I say that, I mean everybody know when Tim Duncan came out and he went number 1 to the Spurs, he was a 4-year player, and it was like, yeah, I mean, it's clearly this is the guy that you take. He doesn't have any type of off the court issue. He seems to be, his personality seems to be in line properly, the whole 9. Dimes fits that whole thing. And on top of that, he's the most well-known player from the NBA 2K community. So you got to go. I would think they have to go with Dimes. Number 2 is one of the things people came at me about. I got Moody going number 2 to Celtics Gaming. I just think that Moody's intangibles, his experience, and also he's from the East Coast. I think a lot of that will play a part. I think he's a type of dude that, from a leadership standpoint, you can build around, and I think the Celtics Gaming will like him. So I mean, it can change in my volume 2, but that's what I got right now. Fab, I got going number 3 to the Jazz. Some people consider Fab to be better than Dimes. I don't believe that necessarily, but I do think they're very, very close. So we'll see. Yeah, I compete. That dude is one of my favorite players because he is a monster. If you don't bring it, dude is going to eat you alive. And I think that would even be the case for his teammates too. You better bring it on this guy's team. Now, I got, as you're going to see, I got a lot of point guards. I got a lot of point guards going because I think that that's still the most important position in 2K, especially in Pro-Am. So I got a first round chock full of them. Number 5, I got Stay in Tune. I got the juice. He's going to, I got him going to the Pistons, GT, and I got Fresh Prince JT. So that's back-to-back Chicago guys going there, 5 and 6, going to Blazers Gaming. Number 7, Timely Cook from Cincinnati. From the Natty, I got him going to Heat Check Gaming. Famous Enough is the man in charge there, and I think that, you know, Famous knows all of these guys. He's somewhat acquainted with everybody, so I think he has a really good position right now because he's been dealing with the community so long. He's so familiar with most of these players. I think he's in a really good position, and I think where he is in the draft, I think Cook will be appealing to him. Magic Gaming, I got Hood Too Glitchy. He's from Miami, so that's a local connection right there, which seems to make sense. Gooner EU is from he's from England, and the Knicks. I think New York is a great place to bring in and one of the international prospects. And Gooner has game. Now, I have only gotten a really good opportunity to see some highlight film stuff of him, but I love his approach. I love his confidence, man. Some people call him the UK's Dimes. We'll find out, but I did like his game. Kenny got work. I got going number 10 to Milwaukee. He is from Memphis. One Wild Walnut. I'm really impressed with One Wild Walnut. Now, I will say this. I believe that One Wild Walnut was qualified as a center, so he's going to have to be drafted as a center. That he probably still goes there, but I could see Killer Low Key going ahead of him. Right now, I got him going 12. That might change in the next mock draft. So I got Killer Low Key going 12 to Wizards District Gaming. WinnerzStayOn, Real Spade. I got him going to the Pacers. I'm going to tell you, and you guys are going to see from the interview that we do, why I would have him going here. Afterwards, I think, you know, you guys might understand where I'm coming from. Goofy 757, 76ers Gaming. Control going to Grizz Gaming. Drake Griffin going to Cavs Legion. And I got Speedbrook bringing it up, going to Warriors, the Warriors Gaming Squad. So I explained to you guys why I had Dimes going number 1. Tried to give a little bit of explanation why I had some of the other players going where they were going. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But like I said, I got volume 2 coming out a little bit later. So I'll probably do 2 or 3 more before April 4th. So we'll see what happens as more information comes in. As I was mentioning to Idris Richardson, as more information comes in, the closer you get to the draft, the more valid some of the mock drafts begin to be because you start to get some perspective. I don't know. This one's different, so we may not know anything by the time April 3rd comes around. So we'll find out. All right. Another thing that I covered this week was there's not a lot of teams that are going with an actual head coach as a separate position. Many of the teams are using their team operations coordinator or their team managers as also as the coach. That's something that I don't know how much longevity that particular approach is going to have. I think the coach should be a separate person because I think that the teams will benefit from having a different voice. And I also think that the people in charge would do a better job if their opportunities or their duties were more specialized. But for right now, very few teams, if any, are going to go with a actual head coach. So I thought it would be cool to come up with 5 people from the community who I thought had the skills to be a head coach. So the first person that popped in my mind was Sam Pham. Dude has a genius level hoops IQ and 2K IQ. Guys like Red Stick Gamer, who were part of the 250, apparently are not part of the 102. He credits Pham with helping him find his game and kind of elevating his hoops IQ. So Pham, if you don't know, he's done tutorials for last few years on 2K. I did an interview with him, I think, in my first episode of Mazique Speaks. So if you saw that interview, you know Sam knows this game. He knows basketball really well. I really think that he would be an excellent coach if someone gave him an opportunity to craft a system and to work with the players. Another guy is the White Kite. I've spoken to the White Kite a few times, and I've watched several streams. His basketball IQ is apparent. He has a really solid coaching background. Coached, he played college basketball. He coached at the grade school, high school, and AAU levels. He's also worked as a trainer, and you can hear it all come through when you're listening to his stream how high his basketball IQ is. And even managing director Brendan Donahue commented and complimented White Kite on his coaching ability. So I like him a lot. Another one who has a really impressive coaching resume is Sean Vilvins. He is a Navy veteran, a certified coach in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's worked with Team USA Youth Development. And he is very acquainted with the NBA 2K culture. He's played competitive pro-am for a team called Anonymous, and he also participated in the combine. So I think he has the right blend of leadership and real life hoops and 2K knowledge to be a solid coach. Now K Spade is another one. A lot of people, you would be right if you called K Spade the godfather of 2K competitive team play. He has been around forever. Now he had a teammate, Antonio Newman, aka Nudini, who did make the league, and he had something really nice to say about what Spade did to help him. He said the way Spade can keep people calm, he doesn't let you get frustrated with your play. And he said that he helped him become a better leader, which in turn he felt helped him at the combine. So part of, to me, being a coach is not just the X's and O's, but it's also about the player development and communication. And I think that's something that K-Spade has down. And he also has the resume that would make pretty much just about everybody respect him. Because if you don't respect Spade, and we're talking about competitive gameplay in 2K, in the pro-am or crew type of environment, then I'm not sure who you would respect. Last but not least is Nelson Blake II. Now, I do recognize that this is a little bit of a dark horse suggestion, but Nelson has, to me, the hoops, esports knowledge, and the communication skills to be an effective coach in the 2K League. Most of the concepts I hear all the time from him because he's part of the Sim Hangout on Friday nights, along with Azar and Matt Miller. He's also a comic book artist for Marvel by trade. But the dude has a layered list of gaming related qualities. I mean, his communication, like I said, is outstanding. He is an esports aficionado, very in tune with the competitive fighting and Overwatch scene. When you meld kind of like all of that stuff together, I think that if Nelson is the type of dude, if he got an interview to be a coach, I think he would definitely knock the socks off of any other decision makers. We'll see if any of this ever comes to fruition, but for right now, it's just kind of a thought. So now let's move a little bit. Let's drift over. If you're a gamer, there's no way in the world that you haven't come in some sort of contact with Fortnite. Fortnite is taking over the world right now. And we had a really monumental moment take place early Thursday morning, late Thursday night, when Ninja, who is the most famous Fortnite Twitch streamer in the world right now, he is making ridiculous dollars from subscriptions alone. But he had a stream that had Drake, Travis Scott, and Juju Schuster-Smith from the Pittsburgh Steelers, the wide receiver for the Steelers, on his stream. I mean, I mean, you got Drake, Travis Scott, Juju Smith-Schuster on your stream, bro. That is insane. I thought that it was a monumental moment for several industries. I thought it was monumental for Fortnite, which is insane. Like I said, insanely popular, and this only makes it more popular. I thought it was a huge night for Ninja. Not that he needed any more validation. He's killing it like I don't know what. But Drake also, like, to come into the esports scene like that and bringing Travis Scott with him, that was amazing. And then now you bring traditional athletics into it as well. I thought it was insane. They broke a record for concurrent viewers on one individual stream. So like someone brought to my attention, CSGO has had over 1 million concurrent viewers, but CSGO is not an individual's channel. Ninja is an individual. This is his single channel, and he had over 600,000 concurrent viewers watching his stream with Drake, Travis Scott, and Juju Smith-Schuster. That was really amazing. I was watching as members of the NBA2K league. You know, I'm talking about managers, players, were just watching and tweeting, just like a lot of people in the world, obviously. And some of the stuff that they were saying was just like, you could tell they had stars in their eyes, because they're looking like, at some point, I hope to become as popular as Ninja, where I can have people from traditional sports world, people from entertainment, hip hop, music, you know, everything, and actors and actresses stepping in and coming into my stream. I know for a fact some of them had to be thinking about that, you know, and even Shump even tweeted something similar to it, or something along those lines. He said, imagine the 2K League players being able to play with players from their respective teams. So say, for instance, you know, Dimes does go to Dallas, and then all of a sudden in his stream, Dennis Smith Dennis Smith Jr. comes into the stream and he's streaming Pro-Am with dimes. Just imagine that. That's pretty amazing, right? You know, obviously, we all know Kevin Durant plays a lot of 2K. I don't know if he plays Pro-Am, but if Speedbrook goes to Golden State Warriors or the Warriors gaming as I have on my mock, and Kevin Durant comes into the stream with him, wow, that would be amazing. So I hope that it happens because I think it'd be a big boost for the NBA 2K League and another boost for any sports altogether. Now, since we're talking about Fortnite, I also wrote an article, and this one's a little out there, so you had to really kind of get there. And I'm going to actually read some of this word for word so that I can properly explain my points, because as I'm talking, I might go off a little bit. So just bear with me here. I wrote an article that said, what can NBA 2K18 learn from Fortnite? And I listed like 5 things, right? Or it might have been 4. But the first thing was crossplay. You know, and the reason why I'm even doing this is because Fortnite is blowing up so much. I know it's a completely different game than 2K, but I think there's some things that's so cool that work in Fortnite that could be explored in a sports game, especially 2K. So I think the crossplay thing is the biggest. It's maybe not the biggest, but one of the first things. Especially now with 2K establishing this competitive gaming format and the whole 9. They need to be able to allow PS4 to play against Xbox, and even for the different consoles to be able to play against PC. That would really widen everything and get you a nicer player pool for the 2K League. So I really think that that's necessary. And also, friends who have Xboxes should be able to play against friends who have PS4 and PC. So now, there's another one. Now, this is where we're going to get a little bit out there. I think the Battle Royale concept is great. Right. So, but you got to file this idea under the Lofty Dreams tab. Just imagine this, a mode that you can only get to in the 2K zone that's in the neighborhood that opens up into a Battle Royale concept. So how does that work in a basketball game? Right. So there are no kills. And if you think about it, there's no way that the NBA is going to sign off on adding gunplay to their game, to a game that has their name or their license. But that still doesn't kill the Battle Royale basketball concept. The mode would unlock like some sort of post-apocalyptic version of the neighborhood. And you get like rotten basketball courts, tattered buildings, and other like alternative structures to kind of make up the scene. The objective would be to move throughout the neighborhood, scoring a variety of baskets on a number of visible and somewhat hidden hoops. Now, some of them would be high, some would be low, some are on the inside and some on the outside. Tougher the shot, the more points you earn. So, for example, if you see a hoop next to a building my player lives in, you know, that hotel building where the doorman is or whatever, you can move all the way back to the Gatorade gym, which, you know, is kind of like if your apartment building is here, then the Gatorade building is like over here, right? The training center. So you could like move all the way back to the Gatorade gym and try to sink long range bombs from there. So making that kind of shot is obviously going to result in a larger number of points for your total. The object is to then score enough points to avoid elimination windows and closing areas in the neighborhood, which would be similar to the thinning of the safe areas away from the storm in Fortnite. In this instance, the thinning area would be replaced by closing hours for a different location, right? So it's just it's a schematic thing more so than it just, you have to tailor it to the basketball, right? So the first window might eliminate anyone who doesn't have at least 50 points. The second cutoff might be 75, the third 100, and then maybe the final wave could cut off at 200. With the accessible area of the neighborhood having dwindled down to just 1/4 hoop area, the end of every round would function as a free-for-all of sorts with every gamer for themselves. You had the ability to block another gamer's shot, steal the ball, or even knock their shot off course by having your basketball collide with theirs. Obviously, there'd be some dunks and layups as well, and some really nasty slams might count for an increased amount of points. It's like an open world version of the classic real life hoops game Knockout. But like this could be, I think, an attractive alternative for 2K gamers and another mode that attracts casual fans. Because you might see somebody that don't even like basketball and they see the way this mode is functioning and they're like, whoa, what is that? It's kind of crazy. And they get into it. So The next thing I say is you should give them something to build. I think the one element that makes Fortnite stand out from other battle royale titles is that it has that building mechanic. You can erect structures in seconds, and that can be used for a variety of reasons. But what if you had a similar function in a battle royale basketball environment that could create an opportunity for even tougher shots and crazy dunks? Imagine the videos on YouTube that you would see of people creating 100-foot structures and trying to make like do perfect like shots, or even leaping downward towards the hoop for a dunk. That is really an attention grabber for sure. Now, lastly, I got the quick start, quick turnaround thing. Fortnite gets you in and out of games really quick. If you're not good at the game or not as good as the group that you're playing against, it's not going to take long for you to find yourself back in the lobby and looking for another match. NBA 2K needs a mode that gives players that kind of quick restart. In every online mode, a blowout loss takes a while to finish. The Battle Royale basketball mode has some quick exit restart qualities, but what if the park had like elimination games of 21-32 that began with 5 players? So if you're playing one of those games, you don't have as many. If you don't have as many points by the time the high man or woman gets to 11, then you're eliminated. If you don't have 7 by the time they get to 15, then you're eliminated. And then that elimination will land you back in the lobby with an option to join another game. So then the final 3 players remaining would then finish the game. So it's a real life game that's played in playgrounds, especially in the Midwest, probably other places too. We used to call it 7-11 elimination. So, and that was for 21, but you can apply the same concepts to 32. So I know those were a little bit out there. So you got to kind of have an open mind to receive them. But I think they would be something cool that 2K could borrow from Fortnite. So let's temporarily switch away from 2K to talk about 2 other games. And then we're going to go into the interview with WinnerzStayOn. But EA UFC 3 dropped a new patch, new update, and it was crazy because it made Dana White a playable character. And it's crazy because he has some impressive statistics. So don't think you about to go over there and smash Dana White real easy, because his striking's a 91, his grappling and stamina's an 86, and his health is a 90. So it was crazy. But the patch itself is 3 gigabytes, so it's much bigger than just Dana White. There's a bunch of stuff tuned in the gameplay. You can check out the link to see the whole list in the description of the video, but there's a lot of stuff that's being tuned. They're doing a lot to make sure the gameplay here is on point. I gotta think they're ramping up for a relatively strong esports push with the game, because they're really doing a lot to make sure they maintain that competitive edge, or competitive balance, I should say. Now let's talk about MLBTheShow 18. They did their franchise mode stream, so you know I was all ears. And I came away with 7 takeaways, but predominantly there's not a lot that changed in franchise mode this year. And there was 2 relatively noticeable omissions. So first of all, we already know that there's no online franchise. So at least I knew that. I hope you guys knew that. That's a bummer, because a lot of people like that mode. But they took it away because they said they want to focus all of their online resources to making sure that Diamond Dynasty works. And perhaps they'll revisit online franchise at a later time. So another thing is quick counts appears to be gone from franchise mode, but retro mode is in as a playable style. I don't understand that. I tried to get it confirmed that quick counts is gone. I haven't gotten a response back from MLBTheShow's Twitter account or from Ramon Russell, but it looks like it's gone. You couldn't see it in any other menus, and it was not mentioned at all. Why in the world, though, they would put retro mode in is like, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they got some back-end analytics that implies that people were playing that, and maybe they might want to do it in franchise mode, but I wouldn't touch that in franchise mode with a 10-foot pole. So there it is. I really do like the phases aspect that they've added. You can see your franchise go through steps and steps and steps of phases throughout the season. So you start off season, start regular season, draft day, all-star race, and it's all these easy to follow segments that I think keep you plugged into the organization's journey. So I really like that. I also really like the menus, man. Every part of the back end of franchise mode is big and crisp and easy to read. So on the stream, Matt Schaefer kept saying it's in your face. And I thought that was an accurate representation. So, but you shouldn't take it to mean like it's obtrusive or over the top. It's not. The information is just really very apparent and intentional. And I like that a lot. So everything from the starting pitcher. You can see some of the stuff on the screen now, to the pitcher models appearing on the screen, that the payroll and positional ranks. All of that is done really good. I like it a lot. They did revamp the trade logic, which I didn't know it was all that necessary, to be totally honest. I didn't have a major problem with that to begin with. So I'm just hoping they didn't break anything on that. Talked about no online franchise. We also had two legends revealed. Trevor Hoffman, just one of the greatest closers of all time. He's been revealed, Diamond Dynasty and franchise mode, as well as Mike Piazza, the longtime catcher slugger for the Dodgers, the Marlins, and the Mets, and might have played for somebody else before he hung it up. But he's also been revealed as well. Last but not least, Mike Trout finally got scanned for the game. So I thought that render that they had of him before was just shameful. So I'm glad they got a different one. But, it's difficult in baseball getting those guys to come in and take the scanning images because their rosters are bigger. And, spring training is like, it is what it is. So that's when they usually have to try to get the scans. And they were having a problem, clearly, getting Mike Trout. But this year they finally got him. And, hey, got to be happy about that. They should be happy about that for sure, because you don't have a scan of one of the best players in the league. You don't want that. You don't want that. So he is definitely in this year. And like I said, I am pleased that that is the case. So that's pretty much all I got for every other game that is not NBA 2K. And it is now time for us to go into our interview with WinnerzStayOn, aka Real Spade. Check it out. All right, everybody. Like I told you, we always have an interview that we can go to towards the end of the show. And it's actually my favorite part. Most of all, it's my favorite part because I get a chance to interact with somebody else. And as we've been starting Mazique Speaks, we're always talking to somebody that's associated with the NBA 2K League. Well, this is the first time that we ever talked to a person who is already assured of being in the NBA 2K League. This is my man, WinnerzStayOn, an official member of Club 102. Can you say what's up to everybody, bro?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I really definitely want to take the time to thank you personally for even doing this interview for me or with me. And also want to congratulate the other members of the 102 Club and anybody that didn't get the phone call. Next year, come harder, come stronger, and hopefully I can be your teammate. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. So I gotta ask you, and I'm thinking about putting together like a montage of this. And I probably shouldn't even say that because somebody probably gonna beat me to it. But I want to get like a montage video of you guys telling me what you were doing when you got the call. So when you got the call, it said, "Hey, this is so and so and so and so from the NBA, and I'm calling to let you know that you have been selected to be a part of the inaugural NBA 2K League's first draft."
Oh man, so it was action. I had just had lunch with one of my friends, and we had just got back to my place, and we were kind of just winding down talking about the good lunch because it was my first time actually going to that place, and we really were stacked that I had made the 250. So it was really crazy. I got the phone call, and the first thing I heard was, "Hello, can I speak to," she said my name, and she said, "This is a representative." Right then and there, I was so like just struck, man. I was like, is this real? Like that in my mind, I was thinking, is this real? And it's just been, it's been long for everybody else, but it was so amazing. And I was on the phone with her, and I said, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yes, I'm serious." And I said, "Are you serious?" And she said, "I'm serious." It was really amazing for me, and I know everybody else in the 102 Club, I know they felt the same way. But it was absolutely amazing, absolutely.
Yeah, man. I know. I mean, if you just think about the odds,
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the people. We're not even going to go to the people who had to win the 50 games, which, was pretty easy. But the 72,000, to break it down to 250 and then to send another 148 people home without that phone call. But you are one of the 102. I mean, that is, like you said, that's pretty amazing. You know, it speaks a lot to your talent. And obviously it speaks a lot to the way that you presented yourself in the interview. So that's one of my questions. And I'm sure a lot of people who are in the 250 who maybe didn't get the call may have that question. When you did your interview, can you tell us, how did you approach it?
I definitely approach every interview the same way. Just look at it as it being a video game. I don't just look at it as, you know, just being something that you do for fun. I approached it the same way that I would approach any interview with any job, and that's with character. It's something that I pride myself on. I try to talk presentable. I try to let people know that I'm serious about what I'm doing. And with anything in life, in order to be taken serious about it. So, you know, just speaking with you, I'm the same way. You know, this is me all the way. So it definitely feels good, and I'm just happy to be a part of this. Happy to be a part of the group, man. It's been a long journey, and the 50, I think it was the 50 wins. I did that in 3 days. So I've been on the scene a long time. I just been, you know, kind of just perfectly fine. And you know, a lot of the other guys in the 250 and in the 102. I know them, not personally, but I've seen their names around, and I definitely respect them. So it's going to be fun as my teammates.
Yeah, man, I was noticing. I mean, you make me feel a little underdressed. I was like, he is out here, he is killing it, baby. I mean, he is sharp as 50-year-old Cheddar, man. I mean, he is killing it right now. So, I mean, you know what? I'm going to tell you something like this. There is no job you'll ever go to get that's worth having, that you'll be overdressed for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a lesson actually to a lot of people. I'm not saying that's why anybody didn't make it or didn't make it, but there's nobody who's ever going, there's no person that's ever going to be interviewing you who's going to say, I was going to give him a job, but he had on a suit, so I just decided no. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. So you might not get a job because you didn't put on a suit, but you never not going to get a good job because you did put on a suit. So it's always better to be safe than to be sorry. So that right there, you guys, I think is the first thing that we can learn from that. Now let's backtrack a little bit, actually, even before the interview, right? Because a lot of people were really dumbfounded on why they didn't get past the round of the 72,000. Why didn't they get to Club 250? So can you talk a little bit about how you approached the combine?
So with the combine, it was very unique for me personally. I play with a sharpshooter as a point guard. So when I went into the combine, you know, I was expecting to have something similar to that archetype, or even having that archetype at point guard. And when I saw the options, no pure sharp, and it was okay, but I had to basically learn a new archetype on the go, like right then and there. It was like the combine was about to start in 5 minutes, and I'm sitting there like, I've never used this archetype. And really it just came down to communication, patience, and understanding. The guys that I played with every single game, a new set of guys every single game, they all had the same. So I can't knock them for having the same passion, having the same fire, and the same determination as myself. So, you know, you go into a game and I'm the point guard and they want the ball. They're like, man, guard, he's just supposed to give us the ball. And we're just supposed to, everybody just kind of goes crazy and just kind of, you know, just acts up. And I was more so like, all right, man, look, you know, y'all just tell me where y'all want the ball. Y'all tell me how y'all like to cut, if you like to do this, set off ball screens. And I try to do my best job to get everybody involved at the same time. And most games it succeeded for me. It really did. I don't know, man. It also was a little bit of luck. You know, I definitely got lucky with a lot of the good teammates that I had. From some of the stories that I read on Twitter and social media, it's like these guys were getting mates. But, you know, you have to be a great teammate in order to get that back. So you definitely have to have patience. It took a lot out of me, but I was ready for it. And I think that's some of me from some of the other guys where I watched a couple streams. They didn't really have the patience, or, you know, they were like, oh man, everybody just get out the paint. Everybody just get out. You know, you have to talk to the guys kind of like you want to be in there with a clear mind. And I tried to just lead my team to a victory. So that was really pretty much it.
Man, you know, I'm going to tell you, you got this thing down pat with the way of understanding, I think, and this is a very valuable trait, a very valuable quality. Knowing how to communicate and how to reach different types of people and different types of personalities. It's a quality that many people don't develop in their lives. It seems as though you have a fairly good handle on that already, which could very well serve you very well in a gaming house, because you have no idea who your 5 teammates are going to be. And I'll be honest with you, man, you're talking like a #1 pick. I mean, you know, if you think about it, and obviously I'm not a GM, so I don't have a pick. So, you know, but if you think about it, all 102 of you guys can play. Okay. So it comes down to, who do I want to lead my team? And by virtue of where you're drafted, some people are going to kind of just fall into that leadership role, because if you're drafted high, that'll be expected of you. So if you go #1 in the draft, you obviously know there's going to be a lot of expectations attached to that. How would you handle those expectations?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
If you are taking with the #1 pick, obviously there'll be a lot of expectations attached to that. How would you handle those expectations?
I'm definitely being the way that I've grown up and all the jobs that I've had and the different fields that I've been in. I've been in management before. I've dealt with so many different people over the course of my life. I'm 29 years old. I just turned 29 March 8th. It's just something. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's just something that I feel like that I have inside. I would handle it the same way that I handle anything else, hoping that the guys understand me and my position, and also I would understand their position. It's not, it's not, oh, yeah, I got drafted at this, I'm better than you. It would just be like, hey, look, man, the coaches wanted to develop a team this way. They started with a point guard, and then they worked their way up or worked their way down, their own agenda. Every team has, something that they're going to draft first or what they want to attack first. It's a lot of great centers in the 102. It's a lot of great shooting guards, power forwards, small. So for me, it would be an honor. It really would. But, I'm more so, man, wherever I'm drafted, I'm going to go in there and do everything that I can to try to get us as many victories as we can really win a championship. That is really the biggest thing for me. So I would handle it the same way, keep my composure, and just hope that the guys trust me to lead the team.
Yeah. Now, most of the really, strong players or whatever, obviously you guys played a lot of 2K. How about like real life basketball? What's your background on that end?
Real life basketball. So I played school, high school. I've played for rec centers. I played for recreations. I actually can hoop. All right. In real life will probably be a small forward because I get the rebounds. I play the defense. I do all of the hustle things. I'll guard the best shooter. I'll do that. Brings it up the court and, dribbles a whole lot, but I can get the rebounds. I can run the floor. I'm all energy. I can shoot. I can pass. I can dribble. I can play defense. So all four, I'm more well-rounded. So which is really crazy is, I play point guard on 2K, and it's like, I do all of that stuff too. Like I'll try to get down there 6'3" point guard and try to grab a rebound or two. That could be the difference in a game. So it's really all about doing whatever you can to help your team get the victory. It's been games where I've had to score more. It's been games where I've had to, but really it's about just exploiting mismatches. If I notice that my shooting guard has a mismatch or my small forward has a mismatch, then we're going to feed them until they stop it. I don't chase numbers. It's a lot of guys chase numbers and, try to be all about themselves, but I'm really just all about the team. So whatever the team needs, they'll get it from me.
So if you don't mind, do you remember what your combine numbers were?
I couldn't hear you. Say that one more time.
Remember what your combine numbers were?
I believe I averaged 18 points per game, 16 assists, 4 steals, like 2 turnovers, maybe 2.5. And I shot about close to 60 field, 45% from three, 90% from the free throw line.
Okay, awesome. So that assist to turnover ratio was extremely impressive. Do you think, if, in your opinion, and I don't know if this was shared with you or not, but in your opinion, what do you think got you to Club 250?
What got me to Club 250? Man, to be honest, I just feel like I played really good. And saying that is doesn't mean much to me because I know my potential. I played, in the combine for me, I felt like I played okay. 18 points, 16 assists. I felt like that was okay for me. I can't wait until next year to do it all over again. But, I'm living in the moment this year. I made it to Club 250. I think the interview definitely stood out. I'm sorry. I think the interview definitely, and I think it was overall everything. I think it was more than just statistics. I think so many great point guards are in the league, so many great shooting guards are in the league. But I think it was everything. They looked at the amount of games that I played, and they also took my interview into consideration and everything. And they said, you know what, this is somebody that we could potentially have in the league. And I made it from 250 to 102.
Sounds awesome, man. I like I said, man, before we started, I am very happy for you, man. Happy for the other 101 players that made it in as well. I got your Twitter handle on the screen right now, so people will know how to follow you. And on April 4th, man, somebody's gonna call your name.
Oh man.
And that's got to be an awesome experience. So I will be there at the draft. So I'm hoping I'll get an opportunity to give you a fist bump, a pound,
yes,
and some congratulations as you take this next step, though. So I appreciate having you taking the time to be talk to me today, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, man.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. All right. I appreciate everybody for coming through and taking a look at Mazique Speaks. We'll be back next week. I got another great interview already lined up. I can't wait to show you guys that. I think you're going to really dig it. And it's definitely something that I think everybody who's aspiring to get into esports, or even if you're already in it, it's definitely something that I think you're going to want to watch because it is real deal for sure. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good conversation. So I want you guys to check that out. Make sure you check out the stream next week, 10 a.m. Central Time. I appreciate you watching. God bless and peace.